How to Travel the World on $50 a Day by Matt Kepnes. Matt Kepnes has some advice for everyone, whether you're a nervous traveler who wants to explore the world but is concerned about the risks, or a seasoned tourist who is constantly looking for new ways to cut costs. Kepnes has traveled extensively for more than 10 years, and his advice will help anyone see more of the world's many wonders. Kepnes offers both common sense guidance, such as how to pack so that you're always prepared for adventure, and hard-won knowledge, such as how to find the best prices on airfare, meals, and lodging. But heed the warning, after reading this, you could find yourself itching to pack your bags and fly to your ideal location. You'll learn what an RTW ticket is and how it can save you money, how to travel cheaply to Australia, and why Southeast Asia is a traveler's paradise. Have you ever wanted to travel to a far-off place but have never had the chance? What precisely is stopping you? Travel appears too risky, travel seems too expensive, or individuals believe they are too elderly for travel are the three main excuses given by most people for staying at home. So let's start by dispelling the false notion that the world is a dangerous and violent place outside of your home country. This fallacy is widespread, in part because of media channels like Fox News and CNN, which frequently portray far-off places as hotspots of violent crime, terrorism, and natural catastrophes. If these are your only sources of information about the outside world, it's maybe not unexpected that you would assume that traveling overseas automatically entails running into a xenophobic killer or a fatal tsunami. But think on this evident reality: over the previous 10 years, the author has spent a lot of time traveling. He has never once experienced violence or even someone who openly voiced hatred toward him because he is an American. The truth is that we avoid traveling to distant countries because we are afraid of the unknown. Let's face it, your local news won't cover the positive events taking place in other countries. In fact, according to a 2010 Pew Research Center research, only 10.5% of the news in the United States is about foreign issues. What then generates headlines? Well, all the frightening events, such as terrorist attacks and terrible catastrophes with many fatalities. However, Kepnes found that regardless of where you go in the globe, individuals are mostly the same. Of course, there is always some risk, but it doesn't necessarily increase when you travel. It's always possible to be robbed or assaulted, whether you're in Beijing, New York City, Los Angeles, Brazil, or London. There is no upper age limit for travel, which is the second misconception to dispel. Kepnes met a globetrotting 65-year-old man in Poland who was traveling around Europe before making his way to India. He was engaging with younger travelers, establishing friends, and sharing his life experiences, so he was far from being alone or alone. In actuality, there are a lot of these individuals. Numerous families with children and couples actually travel at will, sometimes for a full year or even for several months at a time. So don't allow any erroneous justifications stand in your way. It's time to get ready and explore the various wonders of the globe. Aside from worries about becoming older and danger, the perception that travel is too expensive is what deters most individuals from doing it. It's unfortunate because this is just another urban legend that prevents travelers from exploring fascinating new places. Here's a fast test you may perform to demonstrate how reasonably priced travel is. Take out a pen and paper and list all of your regular essential costs, such as rent, car payments, gas and electricity, etc. Then, total up your regular monthly expenditures on food and shopping, including those for groceries, clothing, dining out, and coffee each day. If you're unsure about these expenditures, carefully monitor your spending for a few weeks. Once you've calculated your monthly spending total, divide it by 12 to obtain your annual spending total. As the book's title implies, it is now feasible to travel pleasantly on a $50 per day budget. That comes to $1,500 per month, or $18,250 annually. Because of this, it's erroneous to believe that travel is prohibitively expensive. Chances are, whatever figure you came up with for your annual personal spending is greater than $50 per day. So all you need to do is start saving for your trip. And as luck would have it, doing that is not too difficult. Saving money before leaving will make life easier for you, unless you like taking chances or intend to work while traveling. While saving $18,000 may seem like a daunting task, it is quite feasible. Cut back on or avoid the unnecessary expenses, such as going out to eat, consuming alcohol, and partying. You can, at the very least, stick to making your own coffee. But sharing a room with someone else can really help you save money. Keep in mind that a barrier can make even a studio apartment suitable for 2 people. Alternately, you may sublet your entire flat for a year and live with your parents. There is no limit to the amount of money you can save if you're ready to be inventive and minimalist. How then can someone tour the world for $50 per day? Purchasing affordable airline tickets is the first step, regardless of whether you have long-term travel plans or just want to spend a weekend in Paris. The so-called round the world, RTW, tickets are among the most affordable options. Several participating airlines are offering these cost-effective tickets. For instance, American Airlines does not offer service to every location on the planet. In order to reach as many places as possible, they will collaborate with other businesses. Star Alliance and One World are two of the larger and more well-known airline alliances. So what are the benefits of purchasing an RTW ticket? You can, in fact, tour the globe. On RTW tickets from Star Alliance, you can cover 29,000 to 39,000 miles while making up to 15 stops. Keep in mind that you must move in roughly the same direction and begin and terminate at the same location. As long as you stay on the same continent, you can go backward. As a result, if you start in Japan and go east to New York City, your next stop may be in Los Angeles. However, you couldn't travel back over an ocean that you had already crossed, such as if you had traveled from Japan to the United States and then to Korea. Having some flexibility with your vacation dates and places is another approach to save money. In fact, the more flexible you are with your trip dates and destinations, the less expensive it will be. Another basic tip to remember is that weekday flights and early or late departures are less expensive, however weekends and holidays will always be more expensive. Your best option is to maintain flexibility so that you can seize an opportunity when a great offer becomes available because airline prices fluctuate in unanticipated ways. On a business trip, wheeling a luggage with wheels into a major city hotel is acceptable. But you need to have a good backpack on your shoulders if you truly want to travel easily and be prepared for some real, exciting sightseeing. So what characteristics make a backpack perfect and useful? Make sure the fabric is at least somewhat waterproof, or keep a tarp on hand so you can cover your backpack in case of need. In the event that it is not waterproof, make sure it is at the very least made of a quick drying material. Next, when traveling, make sure that each container has two zippers that can be locked together. This will prevent criminals from taking anything out and smugglers from bringing anything in secretly. Just make sure the locks are TSA friendly so that security can unlock them without breaking them. Get a backpack with lots of compartments, and that's all. Every time you need anything, you don't want to have to search through one particularly large area of your bag. Get a bag that is cleverly made so that you may segregate items you'll require at different times of the day and conveniently access items you'll regularly need. Additionally, you should make sure your backpack is the proper size for you. Knowing what you want to bring in advance will allow you to weigh everything and determine how much space it will take up, which is the best approach to be certain about this. The majority of outdoor equipment stores allow you to try on backpacks that are loaded with the desired amount of weight. They will also come in a variety of sizes, ranging from 43 to 110 liters, so you can pick the one that best fits your body and baggage needs. Say you want to bring 50 pounds worth of luggage. You might discover that it is in fact far too hefty if you test it out in the store. It's obviously best to be aware of this in advance so you can adjust your packing. Of course, traveling on a $50 per day budget means you won't be staying in upscale accommodations or dining at pricey establishments. Therefore, it is best to put an end to any residual debauchery fantasies right away, since else, the money you have saved won't last you very long. You'll need a technique for closely monitoring your expenditure if you want to stay under your spending limit and stretch your money further. When visiting new places, you'll be surrounded by a variety of alluring attractions that, if you're not careful, might quickly drain your bank account. Therefore, you must create a budget and stick to it. Set aside money for various expenses, such as lodging, transportation, and food, and make an effort to stick to it. By staying with helpful locals whenever feasible and walking to attractions rather than taking a cab or the public transportation system, this money can be used rather well. This should not, however, imply being so frugal as to forego the wonderful opportunities presented by travel. You shouldn't skip a dinner at a classy cafe or brasserie if you're in a country known for its great cuisine, like France. You should utilize a journal to keep careful track of your spending to make sure you have enough cash to take advantage of the greatest amenities offered by your destination. In this manner, if you treat yourself to an expensive meal, you can alter your spending in the days that follow to ensure that the budget is balanced. Utilizing platform-based member-driven hospitality services is another cost-saving advice. Avoiding the excessive expenses of hotels is one of the simplest and most effective methods to save money. And finding inexpensive substitutes is now simpler than ever because to the variety of hospitality services available online. Couchsurfing, one of the more well-known sites, has millions of users and hundreds of thousands of active hosts in more than 70,000 cities worldwide. The cost of becoming a member of Couchsurfing is nothing. Additionally, because guests rate the hosts, you can get a decent idea of where the closest welcoming, cozy, and available room may be. Service International and Hospitality Club are two further websites offering hospitality services that you could find helpful. One of the greatest pleasures of traveling is sampling the local food. However, if you're going to travel on a tight budget, it's usually preferable to cook at home and pretend that upscale restaurants don't exist, keeping takeout and eating out for special occasions. You shouldn't have to spend more than $50 to $80 to stock up on food for the coming week. However, even one meal at a restaurant might cost you more than $20. In other words, saving money on food by cooking at home rather than eating out can save you up to 70%. Finding ways to cook for oneself, even on a short trip, is worthwhile because food prices can really pile up when you're traveling. Fortunately, the majority of guest apartments and hostels provide a kitchen that is fully furnished with the utensils you need to make a basic meal. You can always prepare yourself a great sandwich if you do find yourself in a hotel room with nothing but a small fridge. But don't assume that means you can't savor the regional fare. One of the finest ways to try local cuisine is to visit the neighborhood markets and grocery stores. Check out what other consumers are buying if you're not sure what to buy. Another suggestion is to keep an eye out for lunch deals that will save you money. Restaurants offer a special lunch menu that is far less expensive than the evening menu all over the world, but especially in Europe. For instance, the shoreline of Barcelona is lined with many excellent seafood restaurants. However, a dinner at one of these establishments can easily cost $50 or more. However, you'll probably discover that these same establishments provide lunch specials that will give you a fantastic dinner for under $20. Although there isn't a website that lists every local lunch special, if you ask the Tourist Information Center or the person who works at the front desk of your hostel, you'll undoubtedly get an excellent suggestion. But what if you want to travel to a pricey nation like Australia, where a single cup of coffee costs more than $4 Australian, or $3 US? With only $50 each day, how are you going to manage that? Well, by remembering a few helpful pointers, you can still take advantage of Australia without going over budget. The option of house sitting is the first. Australians typically take lengthier holidays to make up for the time and money spent traveling because their country is fairly far away from the majority of other nations. As a result, there is a high demand for house sitters, who can live rent-free in exchange for taking care of the owner's residence, animals, and plants. Visit the well-known website Aussie House Sitters at aussiehousesitters.com.au for additional information. Going the woofing path, which entails performing volunteer labor on organic farms or ranches in exchange for lodging, is an option if you're up for a little more physically demanding job. The organization that manages the program, Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, or WOOF, gave it its name. There is a high demand for laborers to gather fruit and grow seedlings because Australia has vast tracts of wilderness and arable land. Additionally, it's a fantastic opportunity to network and save money. Even though eating out is typically an expensive expense no matter where you go, this is especially true in Australia. Australia has a fantastic culinary culture since they frequently use natural, nutritious products. But the average dinner costs at least $25, so it's not exactly inexpensive. You'll need to spend roughly $80 per week on groceries due to the high cost of food, but cooking at home in your hostel or apartment kitchen is still the more affordable option. In Australia, camping is another well-liked and affordable vacation option, but make sure to include some cooking supplies. If not, you will rapidly spend all the money you saved by not staying in hotels on food. In Australian marketplaces, there is one inexpensive food item that is worth trying. Kangaroos are as prevalent in Australia as cows are in the United States and Europe, thus many stores all around the country sell cheap kangaroo meat. Despite the fact that Australia is more expensive than the average travel destination, there are many locations where your money will go a long way. Southeast Asia is one of them. The average annual income in this region is roughly $1,000, thus life is affordable and you can get by on $50 per day. Southeast Asia is a region where it is very easy to find affordable good lodging. Of course, not every nation is the same. Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia are the least expensive countries, while Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore have slightly wealthier populations and hence charge higher prices for goods. Simple single rooms with fans and access to communal bathrooms can be had for as little as $2 in certain remote places. These are typically found as a tiny guest house run by a local family. Although quite simple, the rooms are clean and provided by welcoming individuals. Basic lodging in these regions will still be affordable, costing approximately $10, if you prefer to stay in the touristic districts. Additionally, this may occasionally come with air conditioning and a warm water faucet. The cost of more opulent lodging with a king-size bed and a TV will be about $15 or $20. The cost of living is increasing in Southeast Asia's most expensive cities like Singapore as the local economy is growing. In order to save money, if you decide to visit, you could choose to book accommodations with shared kitchens. The meal won't cost you a lot anywhere in Southeast Asia, though. The cost of Western food can be fairly high in this area, but the price of local food shouldn't exceed $10 per day. This is mostly due to the well-liked, delectable, and inexpensive street food that is prepared in stands all throughout cities and villages. Most of the local snacks, lunches, and takeout meals are purchased here. Local markets are a great location to find affordable, delectable cuisine. When money is tight, you can buy fresh juices, meats, and vegetables that can be prepared at home, as well as pad thai, hot soups, spring rolls, and fried noodles, among other regional delicacies. So stop making excuses. There is a vast universe waiting for you to discover and enjoy. It's not as dangerous or expensive as you would assume to travel the world. Just be willing to embrace your adventurous spirit and be willing to let go of your need for lavish accommodations. Any traveler can simply reduce expenditures in a variety of ways. You can probably tour the world while spending less money on a daily basis than you do at home. What you ought to do in order to put your newfound information to use. Get a credit card for travel. Every time you use one of these practical credit cards, you receive points for travel. This implies that eventually, flying will be available for a very low cost, if not for free. These cards don't impose any additional fees for purchases made abroad, making them a reasonable item to have if you want to travel frequently. Thanks for watching.